So let's talk about 10 things that you did not know about flight attendants. How you doing today? This is Valencia Flyer. Hope you're doing great out there. Today we're going to go over a list of 10 things that you may or may not have known about flight attendants. I know that I certainly did not know these facts before starting as a flight attendant myself. I work for a major US airline here in the United States, and I have been documenting all my experiences while being a full-time flight attendant and then putting it on here, this channel for you. So I hope you're getting a lot out of it. Consider subscribing and liking the video, and if you have any questions or comments, please list them below. All right, so let's get to it. Number one, after being on the line for a little while, you don't even know what time zone you're in, you don't know what day it is, hell, you don't even know where you are in the world. Yes, absolutely true. It is the weirdest thing, it is the weirdest phenomena, I don't even know. But it's true, you don't know what day it is after a while. This happened to me actually within my very first month. So I'm thinking it's Sunday, no, it's Thursday. No, today's Saturday. No, it's actually Monday. So it's the weirdest thing. And when you're traveling from coast to coast, if you're going international or even across the pond, it just gets all over the place. And then we have to start talking about time zones, right? It's like how many times, hours are you ahead from your house? But that was 2 days ago. Now you're here, now you're there. It is weird. And that's probably one of the big reasons why flight attendants always say that time passes so quickly, and the next thing you know, you've been on the job for like 5 years, 10 years, 35 years. I think the most I ever met someone that was actually still on the line, I think she was in her 45th or maybe 48th year, but she said it didn't feel that way. It's maybe been like 20, 25 years at the most, she said. But it just goes super fast, and yes, it's absolutely true that you just cannot tell what day it is after a while, what time zone, and it messes with your head. But unfortunately, it also messes a little bit with your body, your synchrothian rhythm. Did I say that right? Probably not. So yes, it really messes with you, and it's something, it just is what it is. Number two, when you're on a layover somewhere, you get a hotel room all to yourself. So yes, when you do a layover, it is actually pretty cool because every time that your airline puts you up in a hotel, you get the room to yourself. It's really nice, actually. Now, naturally, some hotels are better than others. Some locations are better than others. That's just the way it goes. But when you do get a nice suite, it's so sweet, you know what I'm saying? So I think that happened to me a couple times where I'm like, wow, all this room just for me? I should have like a party or whatever. I didn't, by the way. So it's a really cool thing. So yes, you get your actual own room all to yourself. Number three, when you check into that hotel room, you do not have to put down a credit card. Okay, so this is another cool one when it comes to the hotels. When you check in, you do not have to put in a credit card. It's the coolest thing. Of course, we're all used to when you check in, your name, your information, your credit card, your firstborn, the whole thing, right? But you don't have to do it. When you check in, typically your flight leader will go ahead and sign you in, just strip you keys and give you your room and everything like that, but you don't have to put down a credit card. I thought that we did at the beginning, so I was ready to put down my first credit card. I think it was in Milwaukee, and they're looking at me like I had 3 heads, and they're like, we don't have to do that. And I'm like, we don't? And they're like, no, why would you think that? I'm like, I don't know, because it's a hotel. But no, you don't actually have to do it. So it's really, really cool. Your room all to yourself and no credit card deposit needed. Pretty cool. Number 4, depending on the hotel chain that you're staying at during your layover, you can actually earn reward points during your stay. Okay, last one about the hotels. So this one's pretty interesting. You can actually earn those points with any of the purchases that you have at your hotel. Now, the cost of the room itself, That typically you can't get points for because it's already been taken care of by your airline. But any other charges like food or room service or purchases or maybe even the restaurant downstairs, depending on the hotel chain, you can earn points like that for yourself. Pretty cool. Number 5. Depending on your airline, you can actually pick up trips outside of your base to make a little bit more money and make the job a lot more interesting. So when I learned about this one, I was super stoked because it meant that it didn't matter almost what base you're at, because you can pick up any trip out of pretty much any base within our network. So depending on your airline, you can go ahead and pull that off. I don't know if all airlines do that, but I know that mine does, so I'm very happy about that. And for example, so when I was based in Detroit, you would think that I could only take trips that just originated from Detroit. Well, come to find out that I was able to go and pick up a trip that started in JFK, New York City, and fly all the way to Switzerland, come back to New York City, and that was the end of the trip. And then from there, I can do whatever I wanted. So it's nice to know that I can pick up whatever trip, for the most part, from any of the bases that we have. That is awesome. Number 6, you can actually get discounts at most airports, like restaurants or stores. Just go ahead and show them your crew ID or just show up in a uniform. So I love this, right? So depending on what airport you're at, you will get a discount by being in uniform or by just showing your ID, okay? Now, if you're going to go pick up a stick of gum or maybe some headphones or even have a meal in the airport, it's nice to know that you can get a discount. All airports are a little bit different. Some will give you, on average, 10 to 20%. I think I had one give me as high as 30% once upon a time, and one as low as 5%, which is pretty low. And actually, there are some stores specifically that don't give any discount. So you want to make sure to ask before in case you're expecting that discount. But overall, it's a pretty good perk. Number 7, you can actually get even more discounts from your airline, like hotel stays, car rentals, amusement parks, even vacations. Just check out the website and the perks that are given to you by your airline. So like one of my instructors used to say,
I love this journey for us.
And this is one of the ones that I absolutely love because we're talking some more discounts. So depending on your airline, you might have like a section of your company website that lists all these perks or discounts that are available to you as an employee. Some might be like a car rental or amusement park or maybe a restaurant or something like that, right? I'm sure it changes throughout the year, so make sure to check your website for your particular company to see if you get any discounts. One of my favorites is getting car discounts because we get some really good discounts, and depending on the city and whether I want to explore it or not, I just go pick up a car right when I land and let's go see the city. It's pretty cool. Check it out. Number 8, the longer you stay on the job, the more money you'll make over the years. So yes, now forgive me in advance because again, I'm still learning, but from my understanding, it seems that the longer that I'm going to stay in this career, the more I stand to make. It's just like automatic. I would never have to go to my manager or anything like that and say,
can I get a raise?
No, it's kind of already worked into the contract. It's worked into our work guidelines and rules. And we know that depending on our pay scale, that we're going to be getting a pay raise. And that typically happens every year. There is usually a cutoff for how many years that would happen. But ultimately, you're still making a little bit more money as time goes on because these pay scales tend to go up as inflation goes up as well, just to catch up with time, right? But the point is that you're making more money the longer you stay, and that to me sounds like a pretty good deal. Number 9, you normally only get paid while you're actually flying. This one, like even when I learned this, I was like, what? Oh, wait, what? Yes, it's true. Historically, and even to today, flight attendants do not get paid unless the plane is actually flying. So, to be a little bit more specific, when the door closes, ready to take off, that's when the pay starts. The plane flies, it lands, it parks, the door opens before people even get out of their seats. The door opens and the pay is over. Okay? That's how we get paid. That's how flight attendants get paid. So you might ask, well, wait a minute. So when I'm boarding the plane and I'm putting my luggage up on top and the flight attendant's showing me, saying hello and showing me where my seat is, are you telling me they're not getting paid for that? No, they're not. Typically, they are not. Most airlines do not pay for boarding or deplaning for that matter, okay? Now, one of the cool things about my airline is that we do get some boarding pay, which is cool, which is very, very much appreciated, but we're not the normal. The normal is that airlines do not pay for boarding, they do not pay for deplaning, they only pay for the actual flight time. And that's how flight attendants make their money. Number 10, it is actually common for flight attendants to become pilots working for their airline or another. So yes, it is actually a great thing. Now, depending on your airline, they may or may not have some sort of program where their employees can elect to become pilots. Now, there is a pilot shortage right now because of COVID, and it's going to be sticking around for many years to come. I think they're estimating, I've heard anywhere between 5, 10, maybe as long as 15 years that there's this pilot shortage going on. So they are really trying to get people to become pilots these days. So if your company elects that, then it's something you can definitely look into. I personally am looking into it. That's why I started taking my private pilot's license. If you haven't seen my actual first episode on it, I'll link it right over here. It's my very first flight out here in Vancouver, Washington. And next year, I'm actually looking to pick up these lessons so that I can get my PPL license this coming year and be ready for when I can and am eligible to go into the program. I think I have to be with the company for about 2 years. But once those 2 years hit and I have my PPL and I'm in good standing with the airline, then I'm ready to go. So it's something I'm really, really looking into and excited at the prospect of doing. But it's not just for flight attendants. You could be a gate agent, you can be working on the ramp. As long as you're an employee of your airline and they have that program, it's something you can definitely look into. All right, so now also speaking historically, yes, it's true. Most flight attendants historically have not gotten paid for training, had to buy a ticket to get to training, and also had to pay for their hotel and food and everything that, happened during training. So training was usually a huge expense for people to take on because they didn't get paid anything. Now, things have changed a little bit. Depending on your airline, you do get paid probably like a minimum wage or whatever, depending on what state you're in. I know that's how it was for me. Now, luckily for my airline, yes, did they pay for me to fly over there? Yes, that was taken care of. Did they pay for my hotel while I was there during training? Yes, they did. So again, very much appreciated. But when my hours were for actual training, I received minimum wage of that particular state. So it was very hard. So if you saw my other episode where, one of the things I wished I had done during training is brought more money, that's another reason. Is because I was getting paid minimum wage during training, and we're talking training for me was 6 weeks. So I'm working 10, 12 hours more or less per day for 6 weeks and making minimum wage. It was hard. It was challenging, So it's something to consider if you're looking to doing this. It's something to look into depending on what your airline does and doesn't pay for during training. So make sure to check that out before it's a little too late. All right, there you have it, folks. Things that you did not know about flight attendants. Pretty interesting, huh? A lot of things that I didn't know, a lot of things that I just had to learn on the job. This job has been super interesting. I've only been at it again now for a few months, but it has been great. It is very much a different lifestyle, something very much you just have to get used to it, especially if you've never been in the airline industry like myself. But so far it's been great, and I'm very happy to share my tidbits, my information, some footage and everything that I've taken on the job as I document this crazy adventure. So if you guys like what you see, please consider subscribing. Go ahead and give me the thumbs up, and any questions or comments that you have below, I'd love to read them. All right, guys, well, this is Valencia Flyer. I will have some more content out for you very shortly. Until then, happy holidays, and we will see you then. Take care. Good night.